I walked into the gym. I was over 300 pounds and I started playing around with the weights and it hurt. My posture was crap. Everything was junk. So I just started doing cardio. Well, then I had this coach. And he's like, dude, come sit down with me. Let's talk about your goals. And I'm like, okay, they're muscle and fitness magazines. I'm like, I would like to look like this guy. I'd like to look like that guy. He's like, okay, we can do that. Sure. And so it's now we're starting to go through plans. Get given a book called Body for Life by Bill Phillips. I scale through that book. I read that and it was probably something you could find for free online. But the book went into so much detail surrounding the challenges I was going to have mentally, surrounding some of the big things that I was going to be faced with. And so I read through that. Now I'm prepared for my success. And I do what's in this book. And now I also have a coach and I had a personal trainer guide me through the steps on a daily basis for 90 days. Well, I did that program twice. Within 6 months, I lose over 100 pounds. And I hit my target and then some. That's the power of the commitment and the guidance and the support and filling your mind with the proper information for preparation to get yourself into the position that you want to be in. And that over here is what you're able to get through the blueprint as a start and getting through to the coaches and being guided through the process and trading.
So what are the secrets? How do some of the most successful entrepreneurs find the freedom that we all got into business for in the first place? How did they find the time, energy, and resources to launch and scale strong? And how do entrepreneurs like us align our time, money, and energy in a way that will allow us to reach what we set out to achieve? These are the key questions, and this community will give you the answers. Welcome to the Prosperity Movement. Welcome to the Prosperity U podcast. Today, we are excited to go over three main components of what we look for in people joining into our community. I'm going to get into that in a second, but first and foremost, let's start with our mission at Prosperity U, at the Prosperity Movement. Our mission is to impact the world by bringing life-giving principles of prosperity to it. Our vision is to guide our community to back engineer their full power and potential with purpose-driven growth so they can do more of the things they love with the people they love most. And man, do I ever love every aspect of that because I get to live it every single day with the people that I love most. Our values is made up of 3 I's: impact, integrity, and intentionality. In order to impact the world, we value time, health, relationships, and legacy relentlessly at the highest level. Integrity, we value people over profits, and we are driven and dedicated to the success of our community. With intentionality, we provide result-oriented support through mentorship to ignite an inspired and focused community. And of course, that is a filter and an attraction mechanism into our community. If any of that sounds good and you're listening to this right now, then chances are this is a really good place for you to hang out. If you listen and hear all of those things and you're like, I don't know about that. It seems a little hokey and you know, this just might not be the best place for you because we are the direct reflection of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And imagine what happens when you can connect with hundreds and even thousands of people that are dedicated to the same mission, vision, and values. Imagine the impact that can be had. Imagine how much can be shared and resource-wise and intellectually wise to drive more impact and income through our nations. I really, truly believe that. And we are going on 4 years working together on this whole thing, and it's evolving. But basically what we're looking for in terms of an individual, anytime they come through here, it is filtering through that. But also we're looking, is this person committed? Number 2, are they coachable? And of course, are they qualified through all of those things that we just expressed? And today, of course, we're also really excited. I'm not sure if James is going to be joining us, but we're definitely going to be talking about some of the new developments with Pod and what's coming through. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over back to Zach and my main man, Travis.
Don't get your feelings hurt, Zach. It wasn't personal.
I'm not the main man. I'm just the guy.
Well, I kind of messed up there, but thanks for pointing it out, Travis. That's why you're
for
the
anyone
second.
who doesn't know, I am the favorite. The laughs give it away, though. It's a lie. Don't listen to that. Well, what a heck of an introduction. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I really did mean to throw it to Zach because it would have been controlled if I did that. And as you can see, I dropped the ball, and then here we are. We are definitely short of a touchdown.
Hey, so
Thanks.
this is not scripted, huh?
So
All right.
kind of kind of called me a control freak there. It sounded like that's what I heard. Just kidding. But those are the three things we look for. There's an individual that is committed, they are coachable, and they're qualified, right? And so, if we start with a commitment, it's interesting. I'm putting together a new training that we thought of that we think is going to be impactful for folks called Trading Industry Exposed. Okay. And as part of putting that together, I've had to do a lot of statistics research. And the statistics are kind of dire outside of prosperity movement. It's really sad. The only good statistic out there that I found was that 85% of traders use Android. I mean, that's a really cool statistic.
Okay, now we're just starting a fight. Like it's literally turning into like gloves off.
Outside,
People, if we were in the same room right now, we'd have black eyes at the end of this thing. It would be like, you're lucky we're on Zoom right now. No.
but outside, it's dire out there. It's
That's
there's
probably why it's dire though, right?
right.
Sounds like 85% of people are wrong.
No. Anyway, so commitment though is a huge piece of that equation. I can't tell you how many people we talk to, and they have their defenses up, and we don't blame them for that. They're like, oh, it's another trading platform or a trading education platform, and they start to kind of put up some of their guards because they've had negative experiences in the past. And so what ends up happening, just the other day I was talking to somebody, and he was like, yeah, I'm looking for information here, I'm looking for information there, I'm watching these YouTube videos, I'm looking for this information and that. And I'm like, so are you talking to me right now just because you want more information, or are you like ready to start trading? And he was like, oh no, I'm ready. Right? I'm like, okay, good, because that is a huge like flag, if you will, determining if someone is interested in trading or if they're actually committed to master the skill set.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy journey. If it was easy, everyone would do it. It's simple. It's very simple, but it's not easy. And so
Can I hone in on that real quick? Simple versus easy, right? Golf, remarkably simple. You hit a ball with a stick into a hole in the ground.
You whack a ball with a little
right?
up
Robin
stick.
Williams comedy.
Robin Williams,
Yeah,
I love that
that's
skit.
So hilarious.
Totally.
Definitely look it up. You guys haven't heard it.
With a little
But
wacky
golf,
stick.
remarkably simple. But you go out, start. Here's the thing. As simple as it is, let's say you spend an entire year reading all the best books and watching all the PGA tours and whatever have you, learning all there is to know about golf. And you finally show up to the golf green, you're going to suck swinging that club. By experience alone, do you find growth with the ability to play golf? Now, golf requires a certain degree of talent as well, and trading is more of a mechanical process. You're clicking buttons. It's more of just a skill set, right? So that analogy only goes so far, but simple does not necessarily translate to easy. I've tried playing golf before. I'm pretty terrible at it, right?
I play golf
every
as
day for a year,
I got
you
the
better bet
Happy
I play
Gilmore.
18.
I got the Happy Gilmore language when I go golfing.
Yeah.
That's your home. Are you too good for your home?
Easy, Brian. Don't say the rest of that line.
Yeah. The price is wrong.
So, Zach, you were saying about it being simple and easy. You're also talking about interested or committed, which is kind of the difference between those who have desire and those who have ambition, right? Everybody in the world has the desire to make more money, to be better at things and make life easier and such, right? But the ones who succeed are the ones who show ambition and or discipline in the process, right? So what is really, in your opinion, the difference in the thought behind what makes interested versus committed really separate and stand apart from each other?
It's a commitment to show up whether or not you're going to feel amazing. I mean, we talked about this a little bit last week, but like a lot of people, like we're emotional creatures, right? So a lot of people make decisions based on feelings, and feelings are fleeting, right? I don't know if y'all ever heard this concept of this too shall pass. It's in the good book. But whether you're going through good times or going through bad times, this too shall pass. And so consistency and dedication and determination and discipline doesn't always look wonderful. You know, you're going to have peaks and valleys, just like there are peaks and valleys on the charts. And hey, by the way, when you learn how to read Elliott waves and you know how to read those peaks and valleys, you're going to be profitable. That's what we want to teach you. Super simple. It was so fun to watch Guy today. But anyway, we'll get into some of that stuff later. But yeah, it's about showing up. Like you and I, Travis, last night, we're having this conversation, and I know you've got your focuses and all those things. For me, whether it's the gym or whether it's trading, I am showing up for that every day, whether or not I feel good about it. Like today, I'm feeling a little sick. I had a workout this afternoon, and I do not regret it. I jump on those calls every single morning at market open, and I am on those calls, and we're raking pips because we know what we're looking for. It's the Todd every single morning at 7:30 MST, every single morning at 8. It's the Todd, and the Sell Todd. Guy will tell you a little bit about the Sell Todd today, and then he caught the Elliott wave on the way back up in the channel. Absolutely beautiful. It is about consistency, showing up every single day, whether or not you feel amazing about it. And sometimes it's just observing. To me, anything worth anything, whether it's sports or a job, you're going to have a senior walking you through, guiding you through to it. And I think that if you're going to be committed to something, you should find people that are already really amazing at whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. You want a really amazing marriage? I'm not saying don't talk to people who haven't learned from their mistakes and made mistakes, but like talk to people who are successful. Chances are they've also made mistakes in that process. Learn from their mistakes. I think that you don't have to make the same mistakes. That just sounds like insanity to me. So
That's
Yeah.
the ultimate skip button right there, is learning from someone else who's gone through the trenches, you know, been forged in the fire. Skip as much of that as possible, do what's necessary, and get their advice on how to be the most effective and efficient, right? I remember this one thing that I purchased online, and their lead magnet, the first thing that you sign up for, right, is it said the secret to the fastest way to become a millionaire. And after all of this really great marketing and salesmanship, the secret was find somebody who's a millionaire and copy what they did. I was like, oh, I mean, that makes sense. It really does. I mean, if you hang around with a bunch of broke people, you're probably going to learn really well how to be broke, right? I certainly did for a long part of my life. And if you hang around a bunch of millionaires or billionaires, right? Like if you got to hang out with those elite people, you think you'd learn a thing or two? They always tell each other their little things like, oh, I just learned about this one program, or here's how I saved on my taxes over here. I just invested into this new stock. You should look into it. They mingle amongst themselves, and their inner circle, if you will, of influence is strong. So if you jump in, you find somewhere to get into that, right? That I think it's the most underappreciated, undervalued, underrated, unseen aspect of when people are looking to go and benefit themselves and self-improvement and increase their net worth, whatever it may be, right? Those journeys. Find your group, plug in, find the millionaire, and then copy what he did.
Well, that's what I always tell people. Like, if you could hang out with Elon Musk for an hour, first of all, what's the value on that? How would you value that? What would you invest to be able to do that? Meanwhile, like, are you gonna, like, again, even if you go to a new job, typically when you're going into a new position, you don't just jump into that position. I mean, if you've got some experience with it, maybe, but more times than not, you're being guided by someone who has been in this position, senior position, or moving up, what have you. And over here on a daily basis, you literally get access to 6, 7, and 8 figure earners that are on the calls, skin in the game, taking plays, letting you know what they're doing and why, when they're entering, when they're exiting, and exactly why. I mean, the strategies are very, very, very clear. So, I mean, just following that is one thing, but then there's the experience again, because like what does range look like? What does the market behavior look like, right? Because those indicators might be flashing and telling you that there is a signal to buy, but are you in range? Because if you are, where's your take profit? Where's the target? How many targets are there? Why is there that many targets? How many pushes are typically in that magical M or that magical W that you see forming, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And I would say I love all that. We even have this part of our videos that I found super impactful where we took literally our least effective strategy and James walks through like a single day of it, taking every entry and exit based on the strategy, and it ends up being like 300 or 400 pips throughout the day, and that's our least effective strategy. So I thought in my head when I first learned this, I'm like, what if I did that? Would I come up with a similar number? Yup. And some days it was even more. And I just did a bunch of like backtracking. I'm like, holy crap. And that's our worst strategy. The better ones, you avoid a lot of the little itty bitty losses even. So it's crazy. But if we get back to commitment versus interested. So Brian, you were saying you show up even if you don't feel like showing up, right? And I think that concept becomes so much more challenging in trading versus anywhere else. Because like if you have a bad day at work, do you have to show up the next day?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's a very different story because sometimes you have a bad day at work because of someone else. In trading, if you have a bad day, it's because of you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like you down talk to yourself, and also because we're handling actual money and there's like money directly involved with your decisions. It feels so much heavier than it has to be if you have a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
And so a committed person is someone that can kind of set that aside. I always give myself like 5 seconds. I'm allowed to pout and beat myself up, and then I'm done moving forward. And then what do I do tomorrow? I show up, compartmentalize. Yesterday was yesterday. Today is today.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that's what a committed person does. They show up even after experiencing a hardship.
Yep. Well, and I think
Just
too,
like
like
going to the gym, I'd say
What?
everyone's interested on going to the gym. I'm talking about interested and committed, right? I've been waiting for you to finish your story.
I'm like that's a surprise. We're talking about going to the gym again?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
the analogy. It's
it's
most
every week with
fitting.
Travis.
It's the most
It's
fitting
every
thing.
week with Travis. I mean, I kind of touch on it too, but I at least change it
makes
up a
sense.
little bit, Travis. Jeez.
It's the simplest way. It's golf and gym, right? People are interested in going to the gym. 85% of the gym memberships go unused. So you're paying for nothing because they're not committed to it. And everyone complains about being overweight or unfit and whatever. It's like, just go to the gym.
But to be fair, that's the difference too. If I was to look at that, I remember the first time I walked into a gym. Let's actually go into this a little bit more and let's have a little bit more fun with it and create a little bit of diversity in the conversation here, Travis, instead of regurgitating the same thing over and over again. I'm just kidding. I just have to push at you.
Repetition, man. You go to the gym, you repeat it. Consistency.
Yes. So like let's pull a story into this. Okay. So like I walked into the gym, I was over 300 pounds. Would have been in I can't remember the year. I believe it was in and around 2010, somewhere between 2010 and 2012. And I walked into the gym at around that weight. I actually got pictures of this stuff. It's absolutely crazy. Now I did get a gym membership, and I started playing around with the weights, and it hurt. Okay, like it hurt, and my posture was crap. Everything was junk. So I just started doing cardio. Well, then I had this coach watch me for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden one day he's like, "Dude, hey, can I just show you something?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, go ahead." And he literally coached me. He's like, "Okay, check this out. We're gonna do what we call interval cardio." So then he pumps the thing to like I was on a bike, so pumps it all the way to like the most intense it is. Okay, now go as hard as you can. I'm like, okay. I went for a minute and I'm like, oh, I'm dying. Then he pulls it down. And so it was this, high intensity, low intensity, high intensity, went back for a minute. And I was like drenched. I was like it was probably one of the best, like at the time, best cardio sessions I've had ever. And he's like, dude, come sit down with me. Let's talk about your goals. So now all of a sudden I got this elite coach guy bringing me upstairs. He's like, so what's your goal, man? And I'm like, okay, they're muscle and fitness magazines. I'm like, I would like to look like this guy. I'd like to look like that guy. He's like, okay, we can do that. Sure. And so it's now we're starting to go through plans. And he sets me up with a plan. And sure as heck, man, like I get given within the week of that, I get given a book called Body for Life by Bill Phillips. I scale through that book. I read that. And by the way, the workout at the end of it was probably something you could find for free online, kind of like you can find all kinds of things for free online with trading. And you can go and find YouTube videos and all that stuff. Could find a bunch of that stuff. But the book went into so much detail surrounding the challenges I was going to have mentally, surrounding some of the big things that I was going to be faced with. And so I read through that. And now I'm prepared for my success. And I do what's in this book. And now I also have a coach, and I had a personal trainer guide me through the steps on a daily basis for 90 days. Well, I did that program twice. Within 6 months, I lose over 100 pounds. And I hit my target and then some. Right. So that's the power of the commitment and the guidance and the support and the like filling your mind with the proper information for preparation to get yourself into the position that you want to be in. And that over here is what you're able to get through the blueprint as a start and getting through to the coaches and being guided through the process and trading. Like that's one of my, like, if you want to talk about health into the trading aspect of how I think that's how it kind of correlates a bit. You know, like even like think about your form. Like we talk about moving commas. Would you walk into a gym and try to deadlift 500 pounds on day one?
No.
That seems silly. But how many people do we get coming through? And Travis, how many people have you talked to that have come in and were with another organization before this, and they were putting in like $10,000 and blowing accounts?
Quite a few.
Right? I mean, we
Majority of
attract.
people we talk to are coming from other places that they've tried before, and they lacked some of these fundamentals that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we attract two kinds of people here. One is like people who are green, who've never heard about trading, and they're just learning about it. But a lot, I'd say well over 50%. I don't know the exact numbers on this, but we attract a lot of people who have been burned before, been through the burner, have lost. I've even talked to guys who have lost over $200,000 in both trading and also in education. Like it's insane. Then they come over here and they experience something different. I mean, you just asked about Nick Koenig the other day there, Travis, and that's one of my favorite stories. Him and Paul, like absolutely amazing.
You know, fair enough to point out. We used to talk more about college and the comparison, right? And you know, talk about a waste of money. 75 roughly, I think it's 74, but almost 3 out of 4 people who go to college never use that degree. That's a zero ROI, right? Like that's a big old loss. And the average degree is, you know, $100,000. Of course, there's cheaper ones and more expensive ones, but it's such a loss. And I am definitely one of those victims that went through college and wasted the time and the money and such for a degree that's worthless for me. It's a piece of paper, right? And so it is, I think, important to note that the intentionality is really important as well, and the focus, right? If you look at most of the like hyper successful people out there, the funny thing is most of them like high school or college dropouts, they don't really have the credentials like you think they would. And instead of trying to be multitasked or super diverse, they started and focused on just one thing, and we're honing in on that one thing. And that's what we teach here at Prosperity Movement. You're not trying to go conquer the whole world of investing, right? We're doing this one thing, and let's focus on this and be committed to it. And over time, it produces results. Like you will go, if you go to the gym 5 days a week and take care of yourself, you will see results. You will. There is no doubt about it. Same thing with trading with us, is we know that when students show up and they follow process, they engage with us, and they get support, right? When they do those things, it's just a matter of time until that aha moment happens. And then, aha.
Well, you even sent me a reel about like your focus, right? Like it's what are you focused on? How are you focusing
cool.
your time and energy? That was really cool, actually. It really painted a strong picture for me. And that was like again, like we for years we're always got so many cool ideas, right? But we've been dialing in and getting simpler and breaking it down into simpler forms every single year. And like my day is super simple now. Like I literally wake up, it's market open. That's what it starts for me. Um, and then we get on some calls, and then I'll have some calls throughout the day. I'll do a workout typically in the afternoon, and if not in the afternoon, I'm doing that in the evening. I used to be a morning workout guy, but market opens happening, baby. I'm that's my warm up is with the charts. I'm gonna warm up my brain first, and then I spend time with my family, and then like rinse and repeat over and over. Have a nice hot bath in the evening, go down, get ready my mind for market open, and do it over and over and over again.
When you take your bath, do you use candles?
I'm not there yet, but I might
flower
actually
petals
start.
and
I mean,
such?
at this
Grass
point, I'm
Moscato?
being successful enough in every area that I'm honing in on that maybe I should get some candles and maybe take some pictures and send them to you.
Please don't.
sounds like an iPhone user. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
bringing it back. Bringing it back. Back. Actually,
Can we
Brian,
cut
back
that out
to
of the edit? That whole spiel right there was terrible. That's not.
You don't want
Yeah, this
pictures of my
podcast is
candles?
no
But
longer
why
PG,
did you
guys.
even ask about the candles in the first place?
I'm picking on you, little girly man.
Get man. Get
So,
out of here.
Brian, your
with
gym-
9mm pizza.
your
name's-
gym story is actually very fitting as well for the second thing we look for. So apart from someone that's committed, who is showing up to the gym consistently, we look for someone who is coachable, right? So you had a coach. If you were like to that coach, you were like, I don't want to do intervals. That sucks. What do you know? Like, how good would that? And he would be like, okay, good luck to you, buddy. And then you wouldn't have a coach, right?
Well, first of all, the coach that I was listening to was very clearly in great shape, and I wanted to listen to him. Right?
Right. Yeah.
So like, I understand you got to do your due diligence, but that's the thing is where else you going to find somebody like James Leone over here to coach you and walk you through but yeah, like that's just it is showing up and being coachable and finding the right people that have what you're wanting to achieve, that are doing what you want to achieve. And I think not just that, but can you go deeper? And what kind of results is your coach getting for community, right? Because they always say, like when it comes to having a personal trainer, make sure you're not getting personal trainer from somebody who's not in shape, right? Because that doesn't make any sense. But go deeper than that. Okay, the personal trainer's in shape. How good of shape are the people that have been working with him for however long? Like, what's that track record? Can you look at those things? Can you see those results? And those are things that we very openly love to share. And if people want to talk to some of the community, they can. So, like that's important pieces of the equation.
100%. 100%. And, as you mentioned, we do get a lot of folks that have prior trading experience. Some of them, couple years. Some of them, we've had people come in with 20 years of trading experience. I've even had folks with that amount of experience say, "Oh my gosh, I've been doing it all wrong."
Right. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy to think? Because I've seen that too, even just within the last few weeks. I've been doing this for 20 years. Oh, and then the question is, like, successfully? So
Right.
how far along are you? Can you describe that for me? And more times than not, it's like either in a deficit, a loss, or constantly like
Roller coaster. Yeah. And so sometimes those folks might struggle with being coached. But vast majority of times because of our filtration system. Like we have you have to talk to several people before you can join our community, and that's for a reason, right? We want to make sure that you are committed and that you are coachable. And so the people that come in that are coachable, they just take off. It's really amazing to see. And then the people that aren't coachable, they need a lot of extra support, and sometimes they need words that they don't want to hear. And that's what
Yep.
our team does. That's
Yeah.
what we-
Yeah, to be fair, there are some people that come through here, and again, when we talk about people with experience, a lot of times they're bringing in habits, and that's why I just love seeing things like what's going on with, like, Matt. Is We've been talking about him quite a bit, but Guy is just so much fun to watch. But like Matt in particular, this time last year, we were talking him off the ledge of quitting. And he had come from another organization before this, brought in some bad habits, and then was literally getting coached one-on-one by James because he had mentioned that he had a dream. He wanted to be an educator. This was genuinely something that he wanted to do. So we invested into him. We got him some little extra one-on-one time, and James really, really laid it into him. And he literally got to a point where he was like, I don't know if I can do this. I think I'm going to quit. And how many conversations had to happen, and look at him now. He's educating, and he's killing it, and he's doing incredible things, and he's guiding other people to get the results that they want. I'm watching guys come through here. We got all kinds of different people coming through here too. There are people from all kinds of different backgrounds that, I get to hear all kinds of different stories. And it's my favorite thing to do because I love literally guiding people and helping them back engineer their full power and potential. I myself, I'm pretty sure all of us on this call have been through a scenario where we were back against the wall. 2017, I lost my dream job, had to start all over from scratch, back against the wall. And my life today in comparison to there is like complete opposite, like other side of the spectrum. And I'm getting to see other people through to that as well. And there's so many people that coming from backgrounds where, again, back against the wall backgrounds, but we're also attracting, like, really enough, we got doctors coming. Like, I can't tell you how many doctors within the last year have started coming through here. That's crazy to me that, like, the amount of doctors, lawyers, dentists, like we have some seriously high professional people coming through. We've got multimillionaires that are coming through here saying they're bored.
Yeah.
And watching them and their attitude in the community and seeing how their lives are like they're like, I get a sense of significance and purpose. You know what I mean? Like they're igniting. I'm watching Andrew Cheeseman, like that guy is so much fun. Like, he's winning. And before he was saying, I just can't justify it. And, wealthy people, they're like, when you get to that level and you're starting to manage your money, it's not that you get cheap. It's just that you really, really, like, you understand the value of things on a different level, right? That's what I'm starting to find is I understand the value of things. And he had mentioned that in the other organization that he was with, when he did the math, he's like, I'm spending $10 a day to be a part of this program right now. $10 a day. And that's kind of actually roughly in and around for some of the financing that we have. I think that's roughly in and around what it is over here too, in and around there. But he's saying I'm paying $10 a day over here, but I'm not even making $10 a day. So how is this making sense? He comes over here and there's such a huge shift. It's so much fun to witness. Like it gives me the goosebumps, as James says.
Yeah. And James is a great example, by the way, of being coachable. You'll hear him say it. Now us three would disagree with it, but James always says, he's like, I'm not anybody special. We think he's a genius. Okay. Cause he is, but he people have given him the nickname Master Yoda because of some of his bits of wisdom that he shares along with his trading wisdom. And but he always says that you never truly become a master. You're always learning. In the moment that you feel like you have nothing more to learn, that's when you have the most to learn, right? And so that's the kind of person we want. We want people that they understand there's always more to learn. I mean, the three of us have been constant learning ride for as long as we've known each other, and had to help each other grow and help each other out of our own hardships. And it's been it's been quite the learning journey, right? And that's someone that's coachable.
Well, I think Matthew 23:12 says, "But those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." And that's kind of like what you're saying, the whole coachable thing. Like if you can't come in here and humble yourself, because we've seen many characters come through too, where like they just don't want to listen, and it's my way or the highway, and it's like they're exalting themselves.
Mm.
That's you're cruising for a humbling experience through that. You're gonna get pounded in the markets with that, right? But if you come in with a humble heart, focused on showing up every day and bringing your best, and Matthew 7:7-8 says, "Seek and you shall find, ask you shall receive, knock and the door will be open to you." Come in with that attitude of, when I need help, I'm going to ask for help. And when I can be a help, I'm going to be a help. There should always be this circular focus in life and in your purpose, which is like this. Like, I've been watching New Amsterdam lately. It's a show about doctors, and I just love this Max guy. Max comes in, his attitude every day is like, how can I help? How can I help? How can I be a help, right? And then in the areas where he needs help, he's not afraid to ask for help. If he makes a mistake, he's not afraid to reach out. And if I really believe that life is as simple as that, in the areas of whatever you want, you can have it. Matthew 6:33 says, "Seek first the kingdom of God, and all of these things will be given unto you. The desires of your heart will be put in there for you, and you can go take it and you can grab it." But it should be in a spirit of helping and asking for help. And it's a constant circular motion in that. Being of service and receiving service. You are worthy enough to receive, and you are just as worthy and should be having a heart filled with humility enough to give. And if you're constantly doing that over and over and over again with repetition, consistency in that, dedication in that, the sky is, there's John 10:10 written all over it. The thief came to seek, kill, and destroy, but I came to give you life and to give it to you abundantly, overflowing. You're just gonna, like, there's no end to it.
Yeah.
They say the pride, the OG sin, right? Like that's the sin of all sins expression.
Well, it's the
So
cousin.
I
It's
heard
actually the starter. That's where I believe that's where Satan, Lucifer, was cast out. It was the spirit of
the
pride.
OG, original gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah, first thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So then that, to me, and I heard this the other day, it would mean that perhaps then anti-pride is the virtue of all virtues, right? Which would be humility that you're talking about.
Mhm.
So if you can be humble in the process, then that is going to produce the fruit.
Well, I'm the humblest guy anyone knows.
Oh, wow.
Probably the most humble guy on the board, maybe perhaps ever.
It almost sounded like Trump for a second.
I was trying to do Trump. It was
That was so good.
yeah. It was good. Oh, I thought it was bad.
No, it was
No,
good.
it was, that
Yeah.
was good.
Right on.
I'm like the humblest of all humble. I'm the humblest of all humble.
Yeah, Shane Gillis's Trump impression is the best.
Oh, good.
So good.
So good.
You guys
don't
got
know, look up Shane Gillis. He's a stand-up comedian, and I think he's an actor now too. And so hilarious guy. Mostly PG humor, I would say. You know, it's not horrible that I've seen.
yeah,
It's like it's good.
it's funny. He's funny.
Grilled
Grilled
cheese. Yeah,
cheese.
his grilled cheese. Funniest thing.
Good
I've
guy.
got Shane Gillis Trump Googled ready and teed up for after this call.
Okay, good. Yeah, you'll love it. You'll be hooked on Shane because he's hilarious.
Do the Trump and do his grilled cheese stand up. It's
Yeah, do
absolutely
grilled cheese as
hilarious.
well.
Okay. I'm
That's
on.
so good.
I like
And-
how when he goes into his like dark humor jokes that he doesn't finish the jokes, he just makes you finish it in your head, so you're the guilty
Yeah.
one. You know, like he's really a great stand up. So
Yeah.
far off point, though. So far off point. So, Dak, you were just talking about how humble you are.
Yeah, that's where we are. Yeah. No. No, but it's very true to have that humble attitude. The reality is, um, life, you're never going to have no problems, right? And I've actually, I don't know, I don't know. Can I just spit out a really weird theory?
Mhm.
It's really weird. It's just an
You're already
observation.
going to judge it, just so you know.
Go, yeah, you can judge it and you can call me crazy and say it's nonsense, and that's fine. It's just something that I've observed, not just in my own life, but in other people that I've known and respected throughout my life. Because when I was when I was broke, and I heard, hey, you're supposed to like be around people that aren't broke, so that you can learn from them and stuff. So I started doing that, and I met a lot of wealthy folks, and what I found is, although their challenges were not financial, with which when your challenges are financial, you think that is the biggest problem that you can possibly have.
I remember it.
And
So much stress.
as soon as you get over that, although you'll probably have a seed of gratitude within you forever, because I know I do. And however, you will get more challenges. And if it's not financial, what is it? And what I've observed is two things. Relationship challenges. And the second thing is health challenges. And it seems like almost every wealthy person I know has one or both of those two challenges in their life. And it's interesting, right? And so when we talk about prosperity, and Brian talked about our mission, vision, values, and impact, and part of impact is the four pillars of prosperity, which is time, health, relationships, and then wealth. And it's just so interesting because when you're broke, your primary focus is money.
Mm-hmm.
But that's so backwards, because if your pursuit of money is too strong, what happens to your health and relationships? They start to falter, right? Which cause more problems later in life. And so anyway, it's just an interesting observation. I've found that. So if you're overcoming being
It's
broke,
kind of like the same thing in relationships too. When you try too hard, it repels, right? But when you can be available, and that's what you're supposed to be in front of the markets, because you're not there to try and force the market to do anything that it doesn't care. You're not there
Amount of
to
job you're
to
talking into.
force. You're not forcing the market to do it. You can't force the market to do what you want it to do. You have to be available to receive what it wants to give you, right? And that is such a very powerful. Like, if there was one thing you could be in life, it should be available. It should be available, and not just available, but available with a willingness for action, for when the action is required.
that's a humble attitude. Available, ready for action. I like that.
I'll send you an invoice.
So that said, we are at 12:45 here. So I think
We did
We
say we were going to talk a little bit about what's coming. So,
Yeah.
Did you want to lead that front?
sure. So next week on Wednesday, we are hosting an event for traders. Specifically, this is exclusive. This is members only. So if you are not yet a member of Prosperity Movement, now is the best time to join so you don't miss this. Over the last few years here, James Leone continues to develop and tweak some indicator settings and things like that to make it easier for some people. Everyone looks at the chart differently. So one strategy might work a little bit better for person A, another one might work better for person B. Well, the most effective strategy so far that we have found is one that is called T2B2. It's within the pod series. And don't ask me what it stands for. That's what we're going to learn on Wednesday. But we have this T2B2 strategy that we've been using for.
There's some
Well,
Star
this year-
Wars stuff happening. Yes, we're just jam packed with a bunch of geeks. Mhm.
Yeah, top to bottom. Thank you, Ludwig. So basically, we've been using this year And this year, what was our last pip count we looked at last week? Travis, I think.
4,225, I think.
Cool. 4,200 pips. And we are on the last day of month number 2. And that is using this T2B2 pod strategy
Is that
And-
this year so far?
this year so far. Well, as of last week, there's more now, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We just
we
had
got
an
some.
all-day session yesterday. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was great. So it's even more now. But I'm saying is that we've been using this T2B2, or James has been using this strategy for this year, even a little bit last year too. But that's the one that's been getting these results that are just insane. And so on Wednesday next week, we are actually going to dive deep into it. We're going to dive into the different indicators, the reasoning behind those indicators, what to look for. We're going to talk about entries, managing trades, exits. We're going to dive deep, and James is going to be there. Potentially, Matt will be there as well. He helped James kind of create some of those indicators and some of the parts of the strategy. So James is a big fan of Matt, as we are, and Matt's obviously a big fan of James. Everything he knows is from James, and so it's going to be a wonderful experience to just dive deep. Instead of just saying, "Here's these lines," you can actually understand the lines, so to speak. So I'm excited for it, and I know many of our members are excited for it. So
Matt is Baby Yoda guy. That's awesome.
What's that guy's name? What's it? Actually, it's like starts with a
Grogu.
Grogu.
I mean, I don't know that off the top of my head, but
Yeah. Plus.
I'm not one of you nerds.
So I'm told. No, I could see that. I like that. That's really good. Matt will probably appreciate that big time, Baby Yoda. But anyway, it's going to be a wonderful event. And so now is the time to join. I see we actually have one of our newest members here, Kevin, on. And so, Kevin, you joined just in the nick of time, dude. Just in the nick of time. You get to be a part of that. So if you are interested in joining the Prosperity Movement, what you do is you go to our website, prosperitymovement.online. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little chat bubble. And so you just type in that chat. You'll have to put in your name and email, and it'll ask you what questions you have. And just put in T2B2. Put in T2B2, and someone from our team will reach out and give you next steps so that you can join us and of course join us on Wednesday for the event. So
Yeah. Get you moving and grooving. That's awesome. That's exciting.
yeah,
I'm excited.
me too. It's great. I'm loving trading. I love what we do. Helping
You got like
people.
what, 20 pips this morning or something?
I've gotten 20 pips every day this week.
That's amazing. I got
Per
40,
hour or listener?
45 today on the cell pad.
For the guys that don't know what pips are, what does that really translate to? Like, what's the effectiveness of 20 pips?
So
Depending on your lot size, like I'll tell you how powerful it can be. Like at if you're following, depending on if you're going the Dave Wimbush style or if you're going the James style. But I've been dabbling with the Dave Wimbush style a little bit at a 0.4% lot size. That's 20 pips. Let's just say that's if you're doing that equation with your principal, should be in and around between 7 to 10%. So that's nice. Okay. But ultimately, if you look at a pip from a monetary standpoint, $1 per pip at 20 pips is $20. Okay. Well, now you got guys on our call. We've got people in our community that, are making anything from a few extra $100 a month to they've taken literally $50 to thousands of dollars. Like we've got guys that have taken $50,000 to $15,000. We got guys that are clicking a button and paying their mortgage off in 80 minutes a month, all the way up to some students are trusting James with $200 lot sizes. So now go 200 times 20, right? So like an average scalp play is going to be between 20 to 30 pips. And there's a lot of times where like the sell Todd today produced over 50 pips. I took 45.
I mean, the Bytod this morning produced like over 100.
Mm.
I missed the entry. I forgot to do the. I didn't preset the buy, so I
Oh,
missed
you didn't do a pending order on that.
I didn't want to get in
I
late.
stayed out of it just because of
Same.
the way that James was
But there
talking
was-
about it. And again, there wasn't like a serious trickle, and there were a few things that
Yeah.
were not in alignment for that. And it was severely overbought, and it still did that,
Yeah,
right? Which was awesome. But I just my rules didn't let me. So.
I'm talking about even the 6:30 buy. There was a 6:30 buy this morning. For Thursday, it's a Thursday morning buy on GBP USD, and
Mm.
there was like 120 or 150 pips on there that I just stayed out because I don't enter late. I missed it. My fault. Cool. But anyway, I still got 20 pips today. I'm not complaining at all. I think that's fantastic. And James always says, if you get 10 pips an hour, you will be reasonably wealthy.
Yeah, but 10 pips a day can still do the same thing. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're doing if you're doing that equation that I was just saying there, it's probably in and around, between 3 and 5%. So,
Yeah, it's huge. Huge. Show me another financial vehicle you can do that in one day, much less an hour.
Mhm.
Right. So
Pips equals spending more time with those you love most, guy says. Yes, it does.
awesome. Should we tie up here today?
I think so. I think that's good. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Again, if you want to join us on the event here this coming Wednesday, hop on our website, go in the chat bubble, T2B2. We'll reach out and give you next steps. But everyone have a wonderful weekend, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.